south end, but they are ruthless, hungry and in power again.
Hello, and welcome to Henry Kissinger as Pokemon going to die before he turns 100.
Not a threat.
Just a fact. This is a special, nope, it's not. It's a special number of episodes.
This is a very normal episode.
Welcome to a very normal episode. I'm Val Flightcub, and...
Do you want to use my Twitter joke?
Sure. I'm Val Flightcub, aka Nintendo's clear Game Boy Star Wars character C-3PO.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. I'm C-3PO's little friend, R2 see-through.
I love it! And our little round ball of a friend, BB Clear. Like we said, we've got a very normal one for you today, ladies and gents. So, you heard about politics?
No.
No! Move on to your next joke. I start shuffling through my cards and they all say caw.
Yeah, they all say politics.
Well, let's talk about a very eloquent and smart and normal man who we think is good, actually, and not horribly dopey and mean. That was sarcasm. We're talking about...
You gotta be more specific.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Joe Biden, because people are talking about him on Twitter. And some people are him. Only one person, but still.
I don't think anyone is him on Twitter. I don't think he's ever tweeted.
No, I don't think so either.
To be fair to all the he's better than Trump people, he has never tweeted as far as I can tell.
Yes.
You gotta hand it away from him, which is his phone.
You gotta hand his phone to his interns. So Joe Biden, pronounced like bidet, but with an N, Biden, did an interview with Charlemagne Dagod, who is from The Breakfast Club, which is a morning radio show based out of New York. And the interview was over Skype or whatever. And there was a clip, a little pull clip from it that got a lot of traction. So he ends the video, Charlemagne ends the video being like, okay, and you gotta come down to New York because we still have more questions. We still got a lot of questions for you we didn't answer. And Biden went, listen, man, if you don't know who you want to pick between me and Trump, you ain't black. And he made this ha face, kind of like he made a joke. Isn't
like a funny thing to say that isn't
funny thing to say. And Charlemagne, not laughing, said, it's not about Trump. I just want to get stuff. I just want to get things for my community. Blah, blah, blah. But then was like, okay, bye. And Joe was like, love to see you in person. Bye. So that was in poor taste.
Yeah, just really bad. And
a joke, but also he wasn't joking.
Yeah, he wasn't joking. And also this is exactly what you would expect of him at his worst. And we just keep seeing it.
And it's so indicative of the Democratic attitude.
Yeah.
The interview starts off. First of all, I watched the interview. It was 3 questions and just Charlemagne asking a question and then Joe Biden listen, blah, 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 blah. And it was his answers were so memorized and so it was irritating to watch. Because it was just, I think all politicians do this, but it was such an inauthentic conversation.
I do think all politicians do that. I think that Biden, everything else aside, every time he opens his mouth, it's like that, listen, blah, 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 is all that's left in him. Like, he has no other mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the substance has slipped away, and what's left is that really abrasive and disrespectful tone and, like, structure of answer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he's actually saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, so the first question that Charlemagne asked was, you know, basically, like, there's a bit of debate about, you know, people kind of saying that, like, Black people are obligated to vote for the Democratic Party. Do you think the Democratic Party owes Black people anything? Like, that's not how he said it, but that was basically the question of, like, do you think that Black voters are owed something? And Joe Biden's answer started off basically like, listen, like, look at the polls. I get so many Black votes. Like, Black people really like me. I got more Black votes in this one county than Obama did. Blah, blah, blah. Black voters like me. And I was like, that's not the fucking question. And he went on to be like, when I first started my career, I moved to, you know, like, I was one of the only white people where I worked as a public defender because blah, blah, blah. But, like, he first of all didn't start off with that. And, like, it just sounded so, like, defensive. Like, his answer was so, like, how dare you even say that? Like, I'm a Democrat. Of course I'm not racist. It's like, we didn't ask that.
Right. I think what it is like he memorizes answers to possible questions. And then as he listens to the question, he just, like, picks up on keywords and tries to match that to one of the answers he has. But all of his answers are, like, on the offensive or, like, on the defensive. Like, they're all, listen, disregard what you just said, which I didn't listen to. Here's the thing that I have to defend myself about on that subject, which I heard you say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's why your concerns shouldn't matter and you should vote for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's the same kind of way of answering the question, the way that, like, the, you know, the environmental town hall that CNN did or whatever, where it was like, should hamburgers be illegal? And, you know, people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were like, that's a stupid question.
Yeah.
That's not what we should be talking about. Like, he answers questions like that, but it's relevant things. Or it's like, no, like, do you think that the reason that he's being asked, do you think the Democratic Party owes Black voters things, is because you know, Black voters feel like they're not being served. And that's the root cause of that question. So to answer, like, whatever, of course I'm not, of course I like Black people. It's like, it's not
even I like Black people, it's Black people like me.
Right, Black people like me. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like, at the end of it, he does circle around kind of to, like, I've always been, you know, focused on helping underprivileged people and helping Black voters and constituents and blah, blah, blah. But, like, it doesn't come from, it doesn't feel like he's saying that, like, it's always been something he cares about. I don't know. It just really was like, it really felt like he was annoyed that he had to even answer that question. Yeah. And, like, oh, so I did this out of order. That was the second question that Charlemagne asked. The first question was, you haven't been, like, online as much. You know, people are kind of curious or, like, kind of concerned that you haven't been very visible. Like, and he even, like, obliquely mentioned, like, basically, like, Cuomo. Like, he was like, you know, there are people in New York who are getting a lot more attention because they're online all the time.
Has been getting more attention because she's in New York and online.
Yes, exactly. And she should.
Yes.
So Joe's answer was so, I think there was something about the way that he was, talking, that he was trying to be more, like, casual and, like, I don't know, it felt very, like, I'm talking to a Black radio host.
Yep.
Kind of, like, he said man a lot, and I was just like, does he talk like this normally? Like,
I think he kind of does, but probably not that much.
It was weird. It was weird because Charlemagne was in that interview, and also just in general, like, it doesn't have a, like, we're casual, goofy when he's, like, interviewing people.
Yeah, he's doing an interview, like, he's being serious, he's working.
Right. Obviously, when he's interviewing Soulja Boy, he'll have a different demeanor, but like, you have to warm up to that.
Well, Biden had his own Soldier Boy, and you can remember that because of the giant flag in the background of his green screened background.
Do you think he's just standing in front of a green screen?
I absolutely 100% do. He definitely was at one point. Like, people determined that it was like a really badly composited shot, and maybe they changed it. I don't think they have.
Yeah, it's definitely the same place that he's always been.
Looks like the fucking John Green Vlog Brothers basement.
What?
Maybe that's too deep of a cut.
Sorry. So he just, I mean, his answers were just so memorized and like it's so formulated. Like you could tell how prepared he was for the interview because like literally they were at the very beginning. He's like, "How are you doing?" And Joe like, knocks us on his table or whatever. And he's like, "Luckily my family's good."
Listen, I'm fine.
Shut the fuck up. I am fine. My brain is normal. No. He's like, my family's doing well. And how about yours? And Charlemagne was like, yeah, we're something like, I don't remember the actual thing that he says. Editing Val here, what he says is, we're over here blessed, black, and highly favored. And Biden was like, I'll tell you what, though, black communities are getting killed by this thing.
Oh,
and
really,
Charlemagne
Joe?
was like, oh, yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. And it was just like, wow, that is yep, cool.
That is the point that you were told to get across. Right.
Like, it feels so not genuine when you say it like that. Like,
yeah, sure sounds like you care.
Yeah. And so Charlemagne asks him, "You're not as online as other people from New York, like Sarah. So, what do you say to that? Or what do you say to people who are concerned about that?" And his answer, I was like, whoa, dude. Like, especially because Charlemagne literally says, like, I have been critical of you about this. And so then when Joe answers, he's like, his answer is basically like, fuck you. I've done so much. Like, why do you care if I've been online? Like, he actually says at one point in his description of like, I wrote this op-ed and I've been doing all of this stuff. People are wondering why I'm not online. Get a life. Like, he literally says, get a life.
Cool.
To, like, people asking him why he hasn't been more visible.
Very cool.
It was just like, okay. Like, it's like you said, he's, like, so defensive about everything. Like, he could have said, like, I know that the video conferences and stuff have been very helpful to people, but I have been focusing on the policies I've been blah, blah, blah. Instead, he just talks about what he's been doing and he has this plan to help people. And it just like, it felt very belittling. And,
yeah.
And he literally said, get a life. Like, did not like it.
Yeah, great timing to tell everyone to go offline and go outside.
I mean, I don't think he meant get a life as in like go outside, but like, I think he meant, like, there are more important things than me being literally, like, in a video, but it didn't come off well.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Charlemagne asked him about, do you think that this is going to be like 2016? Do you think there's going to be a repeat of that? And his answer was filled with pronouns and no names, and it was very confusing. I literally didn't know if at one point he was talking about Sanders or Trump, because he was like, well, in 2016 this guy was really excited, he was going to be different, and there was nobody really opposing him, so he got a lot of traction, but then and like, and so he's here, but now I'm here and it's different, so it's different. And like,
try something different.
Yeah, try something different. And then Charlemagne is like, the crime bill, why didn't have you apologize for that? Or do you think it was a mistake? And he was like, no. Next question. Thank you. But he was like, the crime bill had a lot of other stuff in it, blah, blah, blah. I oppose the parts that people don't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlemagne was like, well, when Hillary was on in 2018 on this show, on our show, she said that she apologized for that stuff. And like, she regrets a lot of those decisions or whatever. And Joe is literally like, she was wrong to say that.
She was wrong to apologize?
Yeah. Like, she was incorrect to say that the crime bill was bad because, you know, a lot of the Black Caucus supported it. And
oh my God.
Yeah. And like Charlemagne was like, but then also, you know, this other crime bill later, you also were a part of. And he was like, well, no, you're confusing this and that and blah, blah, blah. It was such a bad attitude to have and did not like it at all. He
just has so much, like, open, like, revulsion for everyone.
Just the contempt.
Yeah. He hates the people he expects to vote for him.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
He is offering them nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it's that stupid, like, joke, quote unquote, that he makes at the end. It says everything that you need to know. Like, he doesn't care about any part of Black voters' concerns because he assumes that they need to vote for him anyway. So
yeah, man, sometimes I don't even know how to think about Joe Biden, and I tend not to.
Yeah, that's my choice.
It's like, but it's like the more cogent he is,
mm-hmm.
the worse it is. Like, it was like when I was just kind of dismissing him when there was still, like, competition,
mm-hmm.
and when I was just like, oh, like, he's kind of senile and, like,
mm-hmm. Corn
nothing
pop.
he says matters. Yeah, like, it was almost easier to, like, brush him off.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I still think he's, like, genuinely senile, like, obviously. But clearly, like, he does believe a lot of this stuff, or at least he has internalized saying it to the point where it doesn't matter if he believes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And his record before 2016 certainly shows that he believed this stuff before.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, the more clear-headed he is, the worse I feel about him, and the bar is already below the ground.
Yeah. And he says, like, just look at my record, but he doesn't seem to, it really feels like he doesn't have anything new, or he doesn't have anything, like, moving forward. Like, he's just like, read my resume. That's who I am. And, as a president, I'll be president.
Yeah. Joe, we already did.
Yeah.
We're reading it, and we don't like it.
We don't like it. And he's like, well, fuck you then.
Listen, try something different.
Listen, man, it was just really disappointing to hear him at the end say the thing about if you don't know who you want between me and him, because it's like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
It's not a binary question. The question is not, who are we going to vote for? It's, what are you going to do with that vote?
Yeah.
Also, Amy Klobuchar is being vetted
God.
as VP. Another thing that he did say was, Charlemagne was like, people are kind of disappointed, like, they thought that you should have a Black woman vice president. And he said there are multiple Black women in, like, his list of people. So, K-Hive, get excited. Stacey Abrams stands. You're still in the mix.
Grab your wands. I don't know what utensil the Stacey Abrams fandom uses. So I just went to the default.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Is there anything else, or can we not talk about Biden anymore?
We can not talk about him anymore, yeah. We can be done with him.
Can we talk about the opposite of Joe Biden, which is the screenplay of the Yesterday movie that came out this year about what if Beatles never exist?
Mm-hmm.
This piece came out a couple days ago, and I didn't think it was, like, worthy of, like, talking about much, but then I read it, and I need to talk about this.
Okay.
So you haven't read this?
I have not. So my boyfriend did see Yesterday and told me what happened in it, so if that's a spoiler...
Mm-mm.
Okay, then, yeah, I have no idea what I'm getting into right now.
Do you want to very quickly surmise it? What you remember of it?
Summarize it?
Yeah.
Yes. So a guy gets hit in the head with a refrigerator or something and goes unconscious. And while he's knocked out, the world resets for some reason and forgets a couple things, like the Beatles and like Pepsi or something. And just like these random things get like deleted from history. And so he's a musician. He starts singing Beatles songs and he gets really popular. And then he like releases all their music and is like, this is for you, world. this is the story of the Beatles. I didn't write these songs. And like a couple people find him. There are like 10 people in the world who also this happened to, and are like, thank God, thank you for putting this out here. Also, you messed up some of the lyrics to Eleanor Rigby. And he's like, yeah, I couldn't remember them.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. And they're just like, we're just glad that it's out there. And that's the end of the story as far as I know.
Okay, yeah, so that's the movie that came out.
That's the movie. Spoilers for yesterday.
Well, it was yesterday. If you didn't notice it, anyway. Okay, so what if I told you that in the original screenplay, basically the same thing happens, except instead of like becoming a worldwide sensation and like selling out stadiums with these songs, he just like gets slightly better gigs and still can't make enough money as a musician, and finds out that fame is like fickle and fortune is just random. And it's kind of like a bittersweet and kind of depressing story, but much more interesting. So that
would be really interesting, because I was thinking about that when I like originally heard it. Was like, these are kind of simplistic, like in nowadays like musical parlance, these are kind of simplistic songs. Like, I wonder if they would do well now.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the setup for the article, right? Like, it's like a movie itself. Like, this is the setup, and then I'm going to tell you what made me need to talk about this, because like,
okay,
the screenplay was kind of more interesting than the final product. Wouldn't be worth talking about. What's worth talking about? Okay. So the movie, the screenplay was written by this writer called Jack Barth, who like has been able to survive as a writer for 40 years, but like never like had a huge hit. And that kind of like obviously influenced this writing. And then at age 62, he sold this screenplay, which is like, I think it's like one of the oldest people to ever like sell a first screenplay. But then the screenplay was taken up by these two British filmmakers, Richard Curtis, who made Love Actually, and Danny Boyle, who made Slumdog Millionaire. So like, people were excited, like, this is going to be like a huge hit, like this really cool, like this interesting place for a screenplay to come from, and these two huge producers. So what happened, instead of them just like writing by committee and making it more like toned down and like simplistic, what happened is Richard Curtis apparently was pitched the film as, what if a guy woke up and no one knew who the Beatles was? And he said, stop right there. That's the inspiration I need. I'm going to write the rest of it. And then, so he takes all the credit for the story.
Oh my God.
He like does, it's like, it's so funny. It's the exact thing that happens in the movie. The famous guy takes all the credit for the story, which has the exact same beats, down to like going to see like old fisherman John Lennon, who never died. Oh my God. And like the joke at the end about no one knowing Harry Potter is in both the screenplay and the movie.
Oh my God.
And he just like tells everyone that he admits that Barth, just like Barth, like had like provided the elevator pitch, but he wrote everything.
Oh my God.
But it's the exact same. Except that when the movie came out, this guy from Australia contacted them and said, hey, look, I wrote the same story and I'm going to sue you guys. Except it turned out that he had released his draft of his book like after the screenplay had been written. But when like the guys in the UK were notified about that like email, the guy who claimed credit for everything immediately like emailed the guy who wrote it, like congratulating him for coming up with the whole story.
Oh my
like,
God.
trying to like shunt off the blame.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
Holy shit. Wow. So it's like an inverse. It's like, what if the Beatles said that they wrote all of your songs?
Yeah. I don't think it's like a poetic irony. Like, it's not like a one-to-one thing with what happens in the movie.
Right, but it's
just so funny that it's so similar.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. Why does famous people do anything?
That is so strange.
So here's a quote from what the guy said in an interview, Curtis, yesterday was an odd one, actually, because I didn't think of the one-line thesis. Someone rang me and said, would you be interested, and I think maybe even directing, the film with this one-line plot, a musician who's the only person to remember the Beatles. And so what happened after this is, well, I said, no, don't tell me anymore, let me just write my own film.
What?
Which is just a lie.
What?
It's just a lie.
So, did he actually,
I mean, he might have, rewritten the whole thing, but he can't claim to have made the same story beats. And also, the love interest being, a school teacher is also the same in both. So, he can't have just...
That's way too close.
Yeah. There's three things just in the article, outside of everything else in the film, that are the same, that he couldn't have thought of all of independently.
Right. That's so... Ugh. That is really weird. What do you think the royalty divide is?
So that's actually, the point of the article is that, basically there's this entire thing in Hollywood, which people call Hollywood accounting, where net profits for films basically only go to people who are considered, important. So technically the actual writer of the screenplay, he got, he was paid for the screenplay, and then also you get royalties for the movie, which was successful, so he should be getting royalties.
Yeah.
But he isn't because of the way that Hollywood accounting, fuddles with the math. And it brings up that, as of 2011, the actor who played Darth Vader still hadn't received residuals for Return of the Jedi. Because of the way...
Because it technically hasn't made profit yet.
Despite the fact that it literally has made $475 on a $32 million budget.
Right.
But it's just the way that they do the math is oh, well, the more money we make, the more money it cost in the first place.
Right. No.
And this is just this open secret in Hollywood that you gotta be a name to get money on residuals.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He should have what am I thinking of?
A movie about him.
Yes. He should have a movie about him. Actually, you know what? Don't tell me any more of this article. I'm going to write a movie about him.
Okay.
No. GoFundMe. A GoFundMe. Where we can send him money.
I mean, I don't know if he's, poor. I don't know if he needs money.
I saw this movie and I thought it was good. Here's $2. If we all do that, he'll be okay.
That's when I was young, I thought that, when I was starting to get into, pirating music, I thought that maybe if I, mailed the band $10, it would be okay. Because I didn't want the corporation to get a cut.
Right. I mean, that would be way more money than they would have normally gotten from
Right,
you.
exactly. And it same amount of money for me. I never actually did it because it seemed like a lot of work to figure out where to mail it.
Yeah.
And I also, it could have been a check probably, but I was literally thinking of sending $10.
Yeah, it's not advisable to send cash through the mail, but it could probably do it. I don't know why I imagine that, the way that turnips rot if you time travel, that, money degrades if you put it in the mail. I'm just, never send money through the mail.
Never.
But I have gotten cash in the mail before, so I know that it's fine.
I sent my friend a cookie in the mail once.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
In grade 9, I think, I made a Facebook post that was like my status and I'll give you a cookie no matter what. And I honored it. And there was 2 kids in the school who I didn't know and who were kind of bullies. But they liked the status and I gave them cookies on the bus.
Wow. Did they stop?
And then my one friend, I mean, they weren't bullies to me specifically.
Oh. Did they stop bullying in general, though?
Cool guys, cool boys who didn't talk to me. And I didn't have any interest in talking to. But I gave them cookies. But then my one friend from 6 hours away liked the status, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna mail you a cookie, but I can't promise that it'll be good when you get it. But he ate it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he live? What's his address? I want all of our listeners to send him a cookie.
Send a cookie to one.
How about this? What color is his house?
White.
Okay.
It was Donald Trump. I said everyone who liked my status would get a cookie, no matter what.
You were in grade 9 at the time. Were you in grade 9 4 years ago? Wait, were you?
Well, no.
No, oh my god.
His new address. No, it wasn't.
I really just had a moment where I was like, what if she is? What if she was? No, you're not 17. Oh my god. Listen, sometimes people on the internet are young. Okay.
Yeah, but grade 9 was like half my life ago.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, hold on.
9th grade was literally half my life ago.
So it was like, I guess 12 years ago for me. Yeah. And I'm 6 years old, so that's weird. Grade 9 was twice my life ago.
I was -6 at the time. Okay, so anyway, we need to acknowledge the fall of a giant. May he rest in his little
In his
box
little
that he
box
sleeps in with the blanket over his head. It looks like a little covered wagon.
Garfield
eats.
Garfield does eat, but sometimes Garfield has to take a rest.
He loved us. He fed us. He did leave us.
Well, actually, he's not leaving us because the employees have Garfield masks.
Yes. So the Toronto Garfield Eats, the restaurant, that's how you spell it, got shut down because it was evicted by its landlord. Yes, locked out by its landlord. Do you know what's going on with this?
There was an email from like the internal a press release. Okay, hold on. I need to find this press release. I think it's on Instagram.
It's on the notes app.
Garfield confessions.
Stop sending in a confession that you want to fuck the nanny cat from Garfield.
There we go. I got it. So this is a press release from Garfield Eats. Very obviously written by, what's his name? Nathan Masry, who is the chief engagement officer of Garfield Eats. The young entrepreneur.
Okay.
Who, I want to stress when I read his writing that this man is like fully, like this man is a Canadian-born citizen and like fully speaks English.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Unempathetic landlord locks our favorite cartoon-themed restaurant during COVID-19. A Canadian landlord destroys young entrepreneurship. May 20th. Garfield Eats, world's first Garfield-themed restaurant, known for Garfield-shaped pizzas, big lasagnas, and Garfuccino coffee in Toronto.
Garfuccino!
With a pop-up store at 995 Bloor Street West. That's my friend Steve's house. It has turned into a nightmare. That has turned into a nightmare for the beloved cat and the young founder, Nathan Masry, who is also a social media influencer in entrepreneurship with over 115,000 followers and advocate against homelessness.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Which...
okay. I skipped the part where you said 1,000. So I was like, he has over 115 followers.
Garfield has entertained the world for 41 years, and a heartless landlord has shown no form of appreciation to the beloved cartoon. So the part that stuck out to me is the advocate against homelessness part, which, like, maybe he has done some altruistic stuff before, but I think what it means is that he's just now an advocate against homelessness because his restaurant was shut down by the landlord. And he's insinuating that Garfield the cartoon is homeless.
It's like how churches are a house of God. This is a house of Garfield. Like, actual Garfield lives in Garfield Eats, and now he has nowhere to live. Like, he lives in our hearts, Jason, but okay.
I just love that this, like, press release is like, this has turned into a nightmare for the beloved cat and the young founder Nathan Masry, who I will describe in detail. And who is me writing this.
Well...
The chief engagement officer writing this.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I hate Mondays.
I hate being evicted.
I can't say. Mao was right.
I don't know why, but that has just like really strong, well, it was a crime and I hated it vibes. I love how editorialized that press release is. Like, our heartless landlord. He doesn't care me at all.
Landlord doesn't care me.
So, Garfield defeats.
Garfield defeats.
Nope, that sounds like a wiki feed article.
I mean, he does have weird feet. Have you ever looked at them?
Show Garfield defeats.
They look like fucking Richard Scarry bread.
What?
Like the Busy Town picture books?
No.
With like the worm who like has an apple car and like the cats who yeah. There was one where it was like how a bakery works, and like I think the worm got baked into a bread, but he was fine and he ate his way out.
I would love to be a worm and eat my way out of a problem.
Or a bread.
Or a bread. I mean bread specifically, yeah.
Bread is not a problem.
Yeah. That's the opposite of a problem.
But just the way there's like shapes of bread that have just stuck with me from that picture book. And I guess I made the connection between one of those and the way that Garfield's feet are drawn.
They're lumpy, probably. So, what is this Garfield mask situation as well?
So that's actually, I gotta hand it to him. The mask that they're having the workers wear, it's like a customized mask, and it's just like Garfield's huge smile all over your face.
It's really scary, honestly. His huge teeth.
It's scary, but like the ostentatiousness of it is I kind of respect it. It's the most I'd ever considered, like, not purchasing, but like appreciating a Garfield Eats product.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are selling them at $25 a piece.
For the low, low price of $25. Are they just cloth?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. They're just normal.
Just regular
mask.
Yeah.
You could just make one of these.
I'm just going to draw Garfield's mouth on my mouth. I'm getting a tattoo when this is over.
I'm going to make a mask out of just like half a paper plate.
That's what the Phantom of the Opera said, right?
Yeah, you're right. I guess he did.
You know your joke is good when you have to say right at the end of it.
I had to think about it because it was just such a left turn, but you were right.
Oh, man. Speaking of phantoms, it really annoys me that the ghost in Animal Crossing doesn't know that they're a ghost.
It's very cute.
And thinks that you're a ghost? I'm like, excuse me, have you looked in a mirror? I'm a ghost? Why do you have spirit pieces that I have to collect?
I mean...
It's fine. It's funny.
It's funny.
One of my first island evaluations was, I like that there are no ghosts on this island. I was like, okay. Anyway, Animal Crossing talk cannot be contained. It's all I think about. So, Animal Cross talk.
Animal Cross talk. Animal...
Right?
Have you seen... Oh, actually, this isn't even like a shout out because I don't actually know the quality of it, but there is, like a talk show that someone's doing in Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Called like Animal Talking, and they've had like actual guests, like Elijah Wood was on it.
What?
Yeah.
It's in Animal Crossing?
It's on YouTube, but it's like filmed in Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's so good.
And like the set is like a cute like David Letterman set in their basement.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got like their friend playing the drums on the side the whole time. they're like in the chat and they're like punctuating with like cymbal crashes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been like musical performances.
What?
And it seems like, I mean, I don't know the person who makes it. I don't know the quality of it, but it just seems really cute. Like I watched the video of like the tour of the set.
Yeah.
So yeah, Animal Talking, if you are desperate for talk shows.
There's gotta be people who like talk shows that much and are sad that they're not around right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that it would die like cruise ships, but you know.
Editing Val here. I start to tell a story, but then forget that I brought it up, so we're just going to skip to the next part.
Oh, just like the lip syncing to like clips of people. Okay, yes.
So it's lip syncing, but sound comes out of your mouth also.
Right. Okay. So yeah, just Okay.
Talk syncing.
Lip talking.
Lip talking, as opposed to the other kind of talking.
Yeah, with your hands.
Oh yeah.
Makes you think.
I wish that I had the kind of heart that would lead me to think of hand talking before I thought of ass talking.
I mean, I've been doing linguistics homework and learning a lot about sign languages, so
Okay.
that's just where my mind went.
Alec and I started watching... I talk about my boyfriend too much.
No, you
We
don't.
started watching The Orville, which is this Seth MacFarlane show about... That's basically what if Seth MacFarlane made Star Trek. And there was a character... There's like a robot character who's basically Data, but more... It's like if Data was racist. Anyway,
Oh. Do you mean like how like facial recognition algorithms are racist?
No, like how Bender is racist.
Little Bender things.
Racism. No, he just thinks that the robots all are convinced that they are, as artificial life forms, are superior to
Okay, gotcha.
regular ones. Biological, I mean. Excuse me.
Mask off.
Math off. Is that what biological life forms do? Because we're not robots?
I guess so.
Math off?
Mast off? Like Bender takes his like antenna off?
No, like mathematics off.
Math? I mean, yeah, that's good.
Anyway, there's this, one of the human characters is saying, all right, this is going to sound like I'm talking out of my ass, and the robot goes, that's fine, just enunciate.
That's pretty funny.
It's good. Orville, surprisingly good show.
Cool.
I watched an interview with Seth MacFarlane one time where he was like, in 200 years, everyone is going to be atheist. And that shows if you watch the Orville.
Which Seth MacFarlane is the funny guy one? Family guy.
He is the family guy. He is the funny guy of Family Guy.
Funny guy family moments.
It's just Seth MacFarlane, like, hugging his son or whatever. Top 10 funny guy family moments. Ugh.
There's the
That is a
episode
title if I've ever seen one. Fuck. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about Garfield?
I think so. At some point. Do you want to go to Lightbringers?
Wait, I think we have more shout-outs.
Oh yeah, okay.
Funko Pop,
Oh yeah.
who I don't like, has come out with frontline workers pops. So it's hospital workers. It's like 2 nurses and 2 doctors. They have already donated to a COVID-19 relief kind of fund thing with this release, which sounds nice, but also means that they're not donating any of their profits from this pop
Oh.
to that thing. They've just made a lump sum donation, which they haven't said how much it is, and are selling these Funko Pops
How convenient.
as part of their hero collection. Yeah.
Yeah. Along
Apparently they did a similar thing in February with their with like firefighters rescuing animals from bushfires,
Okay.
where they also made a donation and then sell the thing. Honestly, I would have the same reaction or a similar reaction if the news was just Funko Pop continues to release pops.
I mean, I don't understand how they're selling any if no one's going into GameStop, because that's the only place that they exist.
Yes. Well, GameStop is an essential business, so...
You're right. And that means that Funko Pops are an essential service. So they should really make a Funko Pop of themselves.
Funko Pop, ununionized factory worker. I don't know that for certain, but...
Funko Pop, Roger Funko, CEO of Funko Pop.
That would be an amazing reason for their name to be Funko Pop.
What if it was unrelated?
He was like, I just wanted to make a funky pop. But
like Doug Bowser. He wasn't named that because he's Bowser.
Yeah, I was wondering, okay, because that's what I was thinking about next. Like, when did they name him Bowser and when did he become... No, because Doug Bowser is the current CEO after
regular Bowser.
Nintendo's been a company for a long time, which means that Baby Bowser was a big fan And then he grew up to be the CEO, which I think is very...
And that's why he named himself Bowser.
That's why he named him... Wait.
Don't think about it. Oh my god. This is a great episode.
It is. I always love episodes with you.
Me too.
That's my opinion. So I believe that is all the topics that we have now.
Yeah, there's obviously other stuff that's happened, but that's all the stuff we can make goofs out of.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I will say the Trump-Pence campaign has already made t-shirts that say hashtag you ain't black. Yeah,
because Biden is just...
He's the only one who can beat Trump if you think about it.
If you think about it, there's no one actually who could do any better against Trump.
Nope.
Because no one else can do the things that Joe Biden does, which is
the strange thing is that Joe Biden is the only person.
I mean, if you think about it, Trump is basically giving Biden free advertising by putting his slogan on his own merchandise.
It's true. Maybe people will see that t-shirt and think that it means that you're a Biden supporter. And they'll be like, oh, I should vote for Biden.
Yeah, they'll see that t-shirt and they'll think, wow, what a good reason to vote for Joe Biden. Do you want to go into Lightbringers?
I would love to.
What is your Lightbringer?
My Lightbringer is kind of a repeat from last time. What is your second
Lightbringer besides Elementary?
Right. Well, so it's kind of a repeat from last week because last time was my Lightbringer was that I had gotten Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. But my Lightbringer today is that I have quote unquote beaten Animal Crossing. So last night or yesterday evening or whatever, Tom Nook called KK Slider and asked if he would be available to come see our town, and he said yes. Mm-hmm. So this morning I was woken up with the announcement that KK was doing a concert in my town. So
okay, I have a question.
Yes.
How funny was it to you that after all the build-up, KK Slider was just like in Tom's phone, like on speed dial?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Like they know each other. You could have just asked at any time.
He's like, I want to make it so that KK hears about it before we call him. Before I call him.
He didn't want to like cold call him.
Right.
He wanted to impress his boyfriend.
He's like, I will ask him to be on the podcast, but only after he retweets or likes one of our tweets.
Exactly.
I remember too when Isabel like read the island evaluation that was from KS. I was like, oh, KS. I wonder if that's KK Slider. And, like my eyebrows raised up, and then the camera pans over to Tom Nook, and his eyebrows have raised. And he's like, KS.
Oh, that's so good.
Also, listeners, if you enjoyed this little chit chat about Animal Crossing, there's more where that came from, and where that came from was our mouths. So we are going to be releasing a pre-show with this episode where we talk about Animal Crossing for 20 minutes. It's fun.
And it's going to be free to all people because Patreon is paused. Mm-hmm. Pause Treon.
We'll have to wait Treon for it to come to be charged.
I hope you can put it in your phone and press play Treon.
Now, Alex, what is your Lightbringer? Your Leafbringer is what I almost said.
Oh my god.
My Leafbringer is the internet because it brings Leaf to me.
My Leafbringer is the little glass of water that my mom keeps fresh cilantro in because it lets me have fresh cilantro.
That is a good... Oh, I'm going to do that.
And I did maybe sing a little song to my cilantro today because of how much I like cilantro. Oh. But that's not my Lightbringer.
I'm glad that you have the cilantro good gene.
I know. I feel so bad. I should always say when I talk about cilantro that I'm really sorry for you guys who don't have the right gene.
The horrible thing is Alec has the soap feel thing.
Oh no.
But he wasn't born with it.
What?
So he knows what he's missing out on.
How? What?
I don't know.
Did he get a virus?
Maybe he has nanobots.
Maybe he has nanobots.
Also, that might not be true and I might be thinking of something else, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it is.
That is It might be something else, because I don't think that's possible.
I mean, DNA does degrade and transform over time, doesn't it?
It does. I think, like, the point of the cilantro one is, like, it's like a 1-to-1 gene. Like, we can specify the exact spot on the genome where either cilantro good or cilantro bad is.
Well, maybe the cilantro good, that one little gene degraded.
But it would have to degrade in every molecule of his body.
Oh.
In every cell of his body at the same time. Which is possible if he got, like genetic gene therapy.
Is this maybe what might have happened when he got zapped with that big green laser that said cilantro bad on it?
I think you should have mentioned that at the start,
because he did walk away from that feeling fine. So
right.
That might have...
But there was no cilantro around, so he couldn't have known.
Right, exactly.
What if Superman's weakness was cilantro? And Batman had to keep a little packet of cilantro on him.
Wait.
Because Batman has a little piece of kryptonite on him at all times in case Superman goes bad.
Oh. But the cilantro would go bad before Superman did.
Right. Batman has to keep a little glass of water on him.
The Batmobile has a little cup holder that has a planter in it. Oh. I would like him a lot more as a character, I think.
Batman in his Batcave, like, he's like, Clark, I'm working on a new gene therapy to help everyone have good cilantro gene. And Superman's like, no, Bruce, I need this to keep me grounded. I need a weakness.
Oh my god. And he buys a little UV lamp for his Batcave because it's underground, but the cilantro still needs light.
Yeah. Oh, cilantro grow up. That's the dream.
He would have a different relationship with poison ivy, probably.
Ooh.
I don't know what his relationship is with her now. I didn't mean like...
I think adversarial.
Yeah. I think it would be still adversarial, but slightly warmly.
She'd like respect him a little bit for having cilantro.
He'd be like,
well, he's trying.
He'd be like, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I have a little cilantro at home, but we can't do this. You can't blow up the city.
Okay. My Lightbringer.
4 minutes later.
I can't even say it because it's not funny.
Just say it.
I have to get the funny out of my system. My Lightbringer is
Batman's Lightbringer was his UV lamp.
What if the bat signal was a UV lamp that he projected onto the clouds, and then the shape in it was a little cilantro leaf?
It's the shadow from his cilantro.
Yeah,
cilantro that he's. I'm so sorry. I interrupted you.
No, that's good. He just waves the cilantro plant in front of the light, and it bounces off the cloud. It's completely illegible, and no one understands.
And also, in this scenario, he would be pointing the light, which would be not the point of it.
I mean, I guess in that case, it's okay because he's the one who needs to see the signal. Yeah. So if he's already there, it doesn't matter if no one understands.
It's not the bat signal anymore. It's just him having a little fun at home, getting a little silly.
I'm dying. I think this is what happens when you don't laugh for 2 months.
Oh.
No, I have laughed. There's been funny memes. I laughed at something yesterday.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. Alright, okay. I need some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm gonna write mystery novels under the name Sal Lantro.
My Lightbringer is kind of abstract, which I feel like I do a lot of.
Okay.
But it is actually studying something that you've always had an interest in, which in this case is linguistics, which I've had an interest in ever since I read, Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion as a 13-year-old.
Wow.
Which is like the nerdiest and most basic way to get into linguistics, and it's very common. But it just means it's really satisfying to actually learn the basics of something that you have been watching like YouTube videos about for 5 years.
That's really awesome.
Because you just think it's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. And obviously studying is hard right now. And taking 2 like double speed summer courses is really tough. But it also means I'll have 2 months completely off, which will be nice. And in the meantime, it's a good way to take my mind off things.
Nice, yeah.
Is to learn about something that I've always found fascinating and not worry about whether it'll get me a career.
Yeah. So what are you learning about right now?
Well, I just learned about morphology, which is how you make words out of sounds. And I learned something really cool, which is, so basically one of the cool things that this textbook keeps reiterating is how every rule that spoken languages follow are also followed by sign languages.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the cool things that means is like the affixes that spoken sounds have, like prefixes, suffixes, and interfixes, which are like putting thing in the middle of the word.
Okay.
Like abso-fucking-lutely, that kind of thing.
I was just about to ask if that was
that's like the only one that we have in English. But in sign languages, you can actually have all of those, but you can also have a simultaneous affix, which is doing one sign at the same time as another sign, which you obviously can't do in spoken language because you can't say two sounds at the same time.
As much as I often try to.
Oh yeah, like I can like try to double whistle, but that's not that doesn't have any semantic meaning. Except to say, look how cool I am.
Yeah. So morphology, how you make words from sounds, you just put them together.
You do put them together, but there's
class.
rules and
there's rules.
Right. You're right. I've wasted my money.
It's how you put there are ways that you're supposed to do it. It's ways that you don't do it.
Yes. And you can study how a language does it from observing its words, which is cool and fun, and my homework.
Nice. Can your linguistic homework explain to me why we can have words start with like KR, but we can't have words start with MR? Yes.
Well, first of all, actually, so words can start with MR, they just don't.
They don't.
In English, but we can still borrow words like Jason Mraz. Like that is a word.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just not, it doesn't have an English origin.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, every language has rules about which sounds go together.
Uh-huh.
And those vary from language to language. And there are some that are much more common, and there are some that are basically impossible. But any combination of sounds is theoretically valid, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
If you're a combination of sounds, you're valid.
If you're a combination of sounds. Hit like in this podcast.
The combination of sounds that's listening to this podcast. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's neat, and I like it.
I'm happy for you. That's really good.
Thank you.
So that was podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you to the Taxpayers for the use of our use of their song. Evil Men off this album Cold Hearted Town. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can send a cookie to Steve's address, or you can talk to us on Twitter or Tumblr, or do we have a Facebook?
We do, but don't talk to us.
Don't talk to us on it. And we also have a Reddit where HG. We're C3PO GTD. We are HKIPGTD on all of those platforms, and we are HKIPGTD on Patreon as well. If you become a patron, right now our Patreon is frozen in time like a caveman, but what that means for you is that it's currently free. So if you'd like to join, you can get access to our pre and post shows and any of our extra bonus stuff, any of our extended Lightbringers, cut for time, stuff like that. Normally, you would have to be at least a $1 patron to get that. But right now, you have to be a $0 patron. We also have different tiers. So the $5 tier gets you all of that stuff, as well as the role of comrade in our Discord. and a shout out on the podcast. And the $10 tier gets you all of that and the extra special role of Conrad in our Discord, which allows you to listen into the podcast live as they are being recorded. So now, with no more further ado, thank you to our $5 and $10 patrons.
Sexual Fish Tank, Alex H., Alex Schaup, Alex Hoot, Ashinu, Bryant, Bryce, Burgermeister, Chaz Goblin, Claire Steer, Corleone Capone Cone, David Besser, Destryhawk, Dijonais, Jacob Sears, Jane Wick, Maximilian Rower, I'm guessing that's pronounced Indian, NDN, Snufkin, Neve Noah Williams, Nick Clarkson, Non-Binary with Left Beef, Patrick Van Brunt, Paul Blart Fleshcart, Pregnant Seinfeld, Rain Raven, Stephanie Ruff, Summer Geist, The Tallest Jew, Tufster McGee. There's 2 pages to this now. And Win, and your Sapphic Minecraft Bee-Wife.
Yay!
Thank you. I think I mentioned some people there who are at $5 but are paying $0 because of pause.
Nice.
So you're welcome for that sneak preview of your name being said by one of us.
Well, it still counts. I mean, they've pledged to give us $5 eventually.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anyone can do that.
Well, don't say that. People will abuse our tier system.
If Joe Biden says he'll pledge $5 to us eventually, we will have to say his name on the podcast, which we wouldn't do otherwise.
We would never do that. Wait, does that mean somebody can sign up for the George Soros tier?
No, they could say their name is George Soros, but unless... Oh, wait, yeah, they could. You're right. No! you can, but watch out.
Yeah, because we will announce when we turn it back on, but if you're Soros tier, we won't.
And also, don't trust us to be organized enough to notice. And warn you. Don't say that you'll... Don't do that.
Please don't. Unless it's funny.
Unless it's really funny. Well, it kind of is.
If you're going to pledge a joke amount, it has to be more.
Right.
Than the Soros amount.
It has to be $2 trillion, and...
Yeah. You have to pledge to pay all of America's debt.
Mm-hmm.
To us.
Yeah. We'll take care of it.
We won't give it to the government.
No.
We're going to have it offshore in our Canadian hosts' pockets.
We don't have any use for it.
Well...
We certainly don't take American money here.
That's why we'd give it to you.
It definitely never happens that American and Canadian coins are exactly the same and we just treat them interchangeably.
Yeah, I've never gotten a Canadian dime from a store. Anyway, if people would like to find you on the internet, Alex, where can they find you?
You can go to leafcrunch on Twitter or Tumblr, I guess, and that's where I'll be.
And I am flightcub, which is spelled like flight cub, but with a second B on the end of it, which stands for...
C-3PO.
The second B stands for C3BO. Or wait, did you say B3PO?
I said C3... I said the first, like, the whole C-3PO. I didn't put a B in there.
Okay.
Don't put a B in C-3PO. Oh my god.
You might have noticed something different about me. I have a red arm, and also I'm screaming. Like we always say, don't put a B in C-3PO.
You can put a B anywhere.
You can put a B anywhere, but try not to. My name is C-3PO. The B is silent.
Is he okay?
Is he okay? Oh my god. Okay, we have to be done. Memento Pokemori.
Memento Pokemori.